The UK's largest car manufacturer, Jaguar Land Rover, has been hacked, shutting down their entire operation.
Jaguar Land Rover faces a prolonged shutdown.
As you can see, no one is allowed in or out of the premises. And this could close Jaguar Land Rover forever. But who pulled off this impossible hack?
Of like over $6 million there and just under 750 bitcoins.
We are going on a mission to uncover and confront the hacking group to find out why.
So it's them, they hacked it.
And you will see a little later that those behind this hack are not the type of people you want to mess with. Right, we've had a reply. Do you know who you're talking to? On our YouTube channel, we have had some great success hunting down scammers, car thieves, and even taking on the government. But today, this feels like another level. The hack we're investigating has resulted in disruption of hundreds of thousands of jobs, leaving them at risk of losing them altogether, and JLR losing millions of pounds every day that they are shut. You will see later on this video, this situation is destroying lives of normal people. It's an extreme crisis, and that's why we're going to try and find the people behind this, as so far the police and even the MI5 have failed to do so. But the big question, where do we even start? This is what we know so far. JLR is a car manufacturer who literally can't make a single car. And we have a hacking group who are responsible for attacking their computer system. So first off, we reach out to JLR themselves to see what they know so far.
Yeah, so we would normally have access to all our builds and stuff, engineers and what date things are going to be built, but that's what we can't see at the moment. But it's not stopping us moving forward and selling cars. And we couldn't register cars in 2 weeks, so that had quite an impact on us. Yeah.
This is September as well. Oh no.
I know, but they choose that date on purpose, don't they? But they've done it to cause maximum impact.
I wonder if they've been ransomed.
Oh, I would think they probably have, yeah.
We now have a better idea of what's going on at JLR, but why are the hackers even doing this? When we find the hackers, this is something we can confront them with and find out their real motives. But first, we need to figure out who is behind this. And I personally am no tech wizard, but I have a guy who can help us. Thank you for speaking to us. Can you just introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
My name's Vinnie, and my background is computer security. In the illegal world, we refer to it as hacking.
Vinnie was allegedly a member of a group called Lizard Squad. And my God, did these guys hack.
This is the group responsible for hacking two of the biggest computing companies in the world and stopping more than 150 million people from playing their games consoles this Christmas.
Just Jagex, Battle.net, Microsoft, Sony, Google, Lenovo, Tesla, North Korea as well.
North Korea's internet system all of a sudden collapsed today.
Is $130,000 at the age of 13, like a decent amount. Over the past 10 years, I'd probably say a good close to 50 million.
Vinnie has turned this all upside down and is now a cleaned, reformed hacker, using his obviously computer coding skills for good, running a cybersecurity company called Null. But with his years of being on the dark side, reaching out to his old connections, he might be able to help us put us in contact with the right people, and we can find out who and why.
From my experience, I witnessed a lot. I'm very well known for not doing two things that pretty much every other hacker's ever done. That's one, steal money, and two, also do fraud or anything along the lines of that, or call police on anyone, you know? I always try to keep that stuff out of it because I always saw people dropping like flies. Yeah, you might get away with it for some time, but it's going to catch up.
So when somebody hacked Elon Musk, which is just obviously next level for a hacker, would that just be literally just to say that you could do it?
Yeah, it was basically for fun. And the person that apparently allegedly hacked Elon Musk and Tesla was apparently my friend posting a picture and the address and the phone number of someone that he didn't like. And he said, go to this person's house and you can receive your free Tesla. So he got calls, and yeah, it was just basically for fun, literally just for fun. You know, it's not really for chaos, but chaos comes out of it for sure.
Yeah. Vinnie definitely knows this underground world inside and out. And as you will see later in the video, Vinnie is a crucial part to tracking down these hackers. Vinnie has come good. But we have a long way to go before we find out who these hackers are. So we're going to need some help. Good to see you again.
Hi, Mark.
This is Ian Bevis, owner of Chameleon Web Services. Previously, he has helped us track down a scammer who was ripping off people pretending to be an overseas high-end car dealership, who we nicknamed Fake Ken. Now this year, there has been multiple attacks on big high-end retailers.
Cyber attacks forced Marks & Spencer to take down online services.
Luxury department store Harrods has reported a cyber attack attempt on its systems.
The hacking situation at the Co-op has got worse today.
So with Ian's computer expertise, we are hoping he can help us to find a link between all of these attacks.
Okay, so I'd probably start with thinking like the hackers would. You know, is there a system in place that they're all using? There's SAP. So the SAP system is involved from looking after the production line to inventory to payroll. So if you could get into that, you've got into the majority of the business. And then that business is probably, however you've got into that hack, is then the same for another business.
There are news reports supporting this theory, that the SAP was compromised in the Co-op and M&S attacks. But surely, if they got into those companies back then, if it was them, they'd have fixed stuff.
Yeah, so the vulnerability will be found and then a patch will be pushed out there.
So like a repair to stop
A repair to prevent it happening again. The problem is the hackers are probably already in the system. So they've probably planted the seed ready and they're waiting for that moment.
For that moment of what though?
The biggest impact they can do. I mean, what was the date of the hack?
September 1st, the day the UK registration prefix number changes. And that number shows you have a new car. The day most people choose for their new delivery. Literally, the busiest day of JLR's year. And that's why Ian thinks they hacked JLR months ago and they sat silent, awaiting the perfect day to attack. The one with the most disruption. But how then do we find out who the actual hackers are?
The only way I can think of looking for that is we could look for an exploit out there to see if there's any code out there, because the hackers will put their stamp on there to say that they've built the code.
If we can find the stamp in the code,
yeah,
it'll tell us who's hacked.
Yeah, a bit like you're putting your signature to an email.
Right, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Okay, let me go and do some digging. We'll see what we can find. Hopefully there's something out there.
Unfortunately, time is something that we definitely don't have a lot of. Whilst Ian looks into SAP, which we hope will lead us to some clues, I wanted to find out more about how this hack is affecting the people who work for JLR. Now, we have had to blur and change the voice of every employee of JLR that we have spoken to. Simply, they have been told to keep quiet on the whole hacking situation, and we do not want to get anybody into trouble.
I work for a company that do some of the chassis for JLR, and they've essentially said that we can't go back for a couple of weeks.
And does that mean, are you getting paid?
No. All came in on the 1st September. We were due to have like 15 cars go out on the Monday morning. But yeah, we came in the morning, it was like, phone your customers, it ain't happening.
Have you heard what's going on, what it is?
They're keeping it very hush-hush. So they have a meeting every day about 4 o'clock to discuss, like, in terms of registering cars, JLR have actually created their own new system just to allow us to sort of register stuff. I work at Solihull.
And what are you doing at the minute?
Absolutely nothing.
And do you think your job's safe?
Don't know. That's the worrying thing, it's all fun and games until
Yeah,
it starts getting serious at some point, doesn't it?
100%. This was sad to hear. These are just hard-working people like you and me, left without pay, all because of this hack. Who would have thought that a hack could cause this much devastation to so many people's lives? We need to get to who is behind this and try and get this stopped. It's so important as there's literally hundreds of thousands of people who could lose their livelihoods and of course their homes. Whilst on the phone to one of the employees, he said something that caught my attention. Why have you had to stop though? Why has work stopped?
Like, you know, like in dealerships, yes, where they sell a car, they got to go through the system on a computer.
Yes.
That's what's been hacked, and they can't get on it.
So I guess they don't know you don't know what that car is supposed to be made of for parts.
Well, yeah, because you scan it and it'll come up with the spec of the car, but you don't know what spec it is because you can't scan it.
So you don't know what colour dash to put in or what
Yeah, etc. Yeah. Yeah, literally bang on. Yeah.
And from what Ian was telling us, SAP runs that system, which lines up with our theory that when they were inside and they had compromised JLR, they took control of it. So hopefully Ian had had some luck to finding out who these hackers are. You right?
Hi, Mark.
Right, have you found anything, please?
Yes. So, do you remember I said about the stamp that they put on things?
In the code?
In the code,
Which
right.
looks a lot like that.
That is the code that is designed to attack SAP NetWeaver and Java systems.
What that bit there does something.
So this code here looks like gobbledygook.
So is that like just normal words to you?
Yeah, so kind of. So what it actually is doing is and the important point is if you look at the code, right at the top, made by scattered.
Lapsus.
I don't know how you pronounce that, that's why I didn't.
Hunters.
Lapsus hunters, shiny hunters.
So are they there saying it's us?
Yes,
And is that a load of hackers?
that's going to be the group.
Scattered Lapsus Hunters are a consortium made of 3 groups: Scattered Spider, Lapsus and Shiny Hunters. And over the last few years, these guys have been busy.
Their biggest first exploits were against casinos, so Caesars Entertainment, MGM.
And speculation in the news suggests part of them were involved in the recent M&S hacking.
Marks & Spencer says it expects disruption from a major cyber attack.
We are looking at the group that is publicly known as Scattered Spider, but we've got a range of different hypotheses.
So it's looking like these are the guys we are looking for, but we still need something more substantial to know if they have taken over the SAP system. But now we do have the full name of the group. Ian helped with some Tinternet digging on hacking forums to try find some proof if it was them who got into the JLR cyber system.
Interestingly, last night they actually published an announcement saying that they've spent the last 72 hours.
I can't see anything.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
In the last 72 hours, they've spent it in silence, and it's because they're actually retiring, if this is to be true. Now, the key point for you on this is if we scroll down here, they actually link here who they are, and they actually mention Jaguar Land Rover here.
So they're saying they've done it and now they've retired?
Yeah, I have no idea why they would do that and whether or not this is fake, because these sort of infiltrations that happen, maybe this has got too big.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So like they're in so much bother because it's got so massive, they've gone, we're out.
Yeah, they've gone underground.
So we think Scattered Lapsus Hunters are behind the hack of JLR. So now we need to try everything we can to get in contact with them. There is one thing that is clear, and that is that time is running out. It's been rumoured that JLR being shut down is costing them £2 million a day. And there is a fresh talk of a government bailout of about 180 million. And the sad thing is that that government bailout is money that comes from us, you and me, the UK taxpayer. This means that this hack is not only directly affecting JLR, their employees and of course their homes, it's costing us all money. We are going to attempt to contact the most wanted hacking group in the UK. So here's our first part of the plan. So we're now going to probably start the impossible task to try and contact Scattered Lapsus Hunters. And I've got an idea. We'll ask our favourite, Jane's not favourite, Jane 2.0. Good morning.
Good morning, Mark. How's everything going on your end today?
Absolutely fantastic. Jane's not with us, which you'll probably be glad to hear. Basically, I wondered if you could let us know, please, how we contact Scattered Lapsus Hunters.
Reaching out to hacker groups can be risky and potentially illegal depending on the context. It looks like the Scattered Lapsus Hunters have actually shut down and gone dark as of mid-September 2025, so it doesn't seem like they have any active contact information anymore.
I just wanted to say, while she's not listening as well, great to hear from you.
I really appreciate that. I'm always here to help and keep things friendly and safe.
They are saying that they have retired from the statement online, which does worry me. But we have found lots of pages online where they have been interacting. We have spent 2 days searching the internet through forums and groups to get in contact, or at least get a message out that we wanted to speak to scattered lapsus hunters. They seem to go offline, literally disappearing. No chats have been updated, no posts, and even everyone else seems reluctant to get involved. One thing I do want to try is Instagram. Now in the past, well, obviously we've met some quite remarkable people on Instagram, good and bad. We seem to have a very dark set of followers who sometimes like a bit of illegal activity. So I posted this Instagram story in the hope you guys had some connections, and in the meantime we reached out again to Vinnie for a gentle push to reach out to his old life. Would you be able to find out some sort of communication line so we can get in contact?
Honestly, I can't really promise anything. I'm not really in those communities anymore. I can reach out to some friends that might still be connected in those communities to see if they can find anything. But other than that, I can't really do much on my end.
So now all we could do was sit and wait. And after a few hours, we were already getting some messages. Right, update. Vinnie is on it. He's making progress. So hopefully we'll be able to give you an update soon. But this is a really interesting message through Instagram. Little insight for you. Actually, cannot confirm or deny this. JLR had a Teams meeting in March/April, and the meeting got hacked live, and the hacker said, "We have access, you have been warned." Imagine if that's true. That would be the most exciting Teams meeting ever. 6-7 months ago now. So maybe, like Ian did say, that sometimes they get into the system, sit quiet, so they're in all the backups as well. So maybe they have been there for 6 months. That's crazy. Fingers crossed we'll have some more updates. As the messages keep coming through, I'll let you know. So whilst we were waiting for more messages, I want to find out how hacking can affect small businesses and ultimately you and me. Before we get there, you might not have had money stolen through hacking, but you could be a little light in the pocket just from having car finance. Between 2007 and 2021, 14 million people were overcharged on their agreements. Unknowingly, people were getting overcharged as the dealer secretly increased interest rates, pocketing the cash for themselves. Now, to find out if you are one of those people, you can head over to Reclaim 24/7 and use their online calculator. You'll just need to fill in a few details, and within minutes you can find out how much you could be owed. And the best thing is, those claims aren't limited to just one agreement, so you could literally be owed thousands. So you can go through the financial ombudsman or wait for the redress scheme. However, for those, you'll have to dig out your old agreements. Now, if you're anything like me, you will have no idea where and what your old agreements were. So head over to the link in the description to start your claim today. And remember, this is no win, no fee. So you have nothing to lose. Thank you, Reclaim 24/7, for sponsoring this video. Good to see you again, James.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, thanks for your time. This is James, a cybercrime specialist in the police. Previously, we made a video on Facebook scams, and he gave us some tips to stop us getting ripped off. I wanted to see, in this modern day world, who needs to be wary of being hacked, and is there any steps that we can make to stop it happening to any of us? Is this hacking to businesses a new thing?
It's been going on a long time, but it's ramped up a lot more at the moment because of the business models that the criminals are utilising in order to make it a growing field for them to make a lot of money. There's a number of groups online that are doing this now. It's called ransomware as a service. So if you're interested in working with them as an organised crime group, they'll pay you 30 to 40% of whatever ransom is paid if you actually go out and compromise a business.
So they're subbing it out?
Exactly that. It's essentially affiliate marketing. They'll pay you a commission. So in terms of the money that's paid...
So that's £38,000?
So that's actually 38.5 Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
So in total...
Oh my God.
997,000.
That's $1 million?
Yeah, and that's a known wallet that's attributed to that group. That's just one of hundreds, if not thousands, of groups that are putting these up publicly.
What, showing off?
Exactly that, flexing to show how successful they are in a bid to get new recruits to come and work with them.
That's unbelievable. That is crazy. So I'm sure you can imagine how much money they could be holding JLR to ransom. We have seen that similar sized blue chip companies are usually asked to pay between £5 and £20 million for the hackers to let you have your own data back. In 2024, 50% of businesses have been attacked by cybercrime, And for me, this has happened scarily close to home.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Mark. How are you?
Right, now, we've been friends for
20
years. This is Dan Bevan, who owns a local Birmingham company who make lorries. And our family company, Cymark, has sold them straps for many years. You had a hack. How long ago was that?
April 2023 it was. On the morning, and we had a few people with IT issues, and then realised that the servers were locked. I think the first ransom was something like $5 million. The hackers realised that we weren't a $1 billion company. In the end, it went down to like 250,000, $250,000. And we had a vote of, do we pay them and get it back, or do we rebuild it ourselves? In fact, we went back to them and said, actually, our demand is now that you give us £20 million. And I did say we would send them a Bevan mug and pen if they cooperated. The cyber terrorist consultant said, look, they're a registered business, they've got a proper email and website domain and all of this. Their employees are KPI'd on how many people they're targeting.
When I think of a hacker, I think a spotty teenager locked in his bedroom, never seeing the light of day, surrounded by screens, nerding out on script that looks like a cat has walked over your keyboard. But it turns out these hackers are a proper professional business.
So how much would you say this attack cost you financially in your pocket?
You wouldn't be shy of sort of 300 grand that it probably cost us overall. And the government are talking about a bailout scheme for JLR to help their supply chain, and the government weren't there when we got hacked. In fact, no one really gave a monkeys.
Bad news, the hackers have struck again.
Heathrow Airport, Berlin, Brussels Airport, passengers within them all affected by this perceived to be ransomware attack as reported by the European agency.
Hundreds of delayed and cancelled flights causing distress to travellers across 3 countries.
In 2025, it seems hacking is rife and no person or business is safe. Could the people who have hacked the airports be the same people who are responsible for JLR? Well, it's something we can ask them when we find them later on in this video. We have spent days going back and forth through messages, trying to find somebody to help. Ignore that bit. But the problem just got a whole lot worse. Okay, there's been a fresh announcement. Now, they're not going to make any cars here till at least October, which means a whole month of this factory being shut, which is an absolute disaster. This is actually shift change time. So usually this would be absolutely hacked, and there's not a single car apart from that one which has ruined the shop. But this whole situation is horrific, and it makes us even more determined to try and find out who did this. Is that another car? Should we do it again?
Well, they're all leaving.
This hack goes way further than just JLR. They have a huge chain of external companies supplying them parts. Altogether, this network employs over 200,000 people, and many of those companies simply can't sustain having no income for at least a month. Many of these supply companies are local to the JLR plant, and that means they are local to me. I am in fact only 15 miles away from the Solihull plant, and many of my friends and even a family member, Jane's brother, will be affected. And horribly, we have already seen something like this in the past. A catastrophe that happened back in 2005, 20 years ago.
Unions described the collapse of MG Rover as the darkest day in the history of the British car industry.
Overnight, 6,000 people in my local area were unemployed. It brought heartbreak, poverty and crime. It crippled the surrounding towns of Longbridge. And the size of JLR, this time it will make it 5 times worse. This is why it's so vital to try get to these hackers and stop this before hundreds of thousands of jobs are gone forever. Time is running out. Right, amazing news, Vinnie has come good. Now I'm excited, we have the account on Telegram which we can contact the actual hackers who have taken over JLR. And this is crazy that we've managed to get this far, and to be fair, it's down to you guys for watching these videos, so thank you. And if you're not subscribed, now is a good time. Telegram is a messaging platform very similar to WhatsApp, But with Telegram, the messages and data we send gets 100% encrypted. So it's a chosen communication tool for the criminals, as the police simply can't get access to the chat. So this is how we're going to communicate with the JLR hackers. Right, I'm going to go with, hi mate, it's Mark McCann. Thanks for sending your details. Are you free for a call? LOL, do you know who you're talking to? Which is been shot down by the hackers already. Okay, we've decided to come into here to explain exactly what happens over the next few minutes. You will see from my reactions, my shaking hands, that how current and massive this whole situation is was simply quite daunting and scary. I didn't sort of feed back to you guys very well because I just didn't know what to say. I was like a rabbit in the headlights. So we'll go for it step by step, break it down, but you're about to witness us speaking to the actual hackers of Jaguar Land Rover. Don't worry, not the feds.
That sounds like something the feds would say.
Yeah, I don't do calls, man.
What do you want to know?
To be honest, I totally forgot Reese was even there with the camera at this moment. That's why, like, I practically said nothing. I knew that this was a massive opportunity to find out what had happened for us, for the video. I knew this was massive. So I suggested to send a voice note, as I thought it might be easier. Oh, I'm quite nervous. My VM doesn't have audio. What's VM mean? You'll have to text. In a perfect world, we'd have spoke to him over the phone, video call, in person, but he's using Telegram encrypted on a virtual machine. So, he's absolutely untraceable because obviously the consequences of him being found would be huge. And to be honest, he was the one calling all the shots here. We had to roll with whatever options he was giving us. I imagine you have some questions that you want me to answer, etc. If you want to know how we hacked it, what date there is, I can't answer that.
So it's them, they hacked it.
So that to me was the massive moment. Everything from here got really serious. He had just admitted to us that he was the person, he was part of that group which had caused absolute chaos.
Imagine if he's listening to us now.
Imagine if he's already hacked this phone. That'd be cool, that would. Just imagine if you had the power to hack and infiltrate any device. Like, imagine if they hacked the phone and the internet by tonight would be full of like pictures of your mom.
Oi.
I think we all need to take a step back and just imagine, these people are speaking to us and they have little to no benefit to do that. Part of the reason, they do this is for clout. They hack these big companies and boast to each other's groups in various Telegram accounts to show that they are the best at what they do, Can you list all your questions at once? When we planned for this message, or we hope was going to be a phone call, we discussed probably the easiest way to get the most information would be, a conversation rather than just a load of quick fire questions. So try and get some sort of responses going backwards and forwards. But unfortunately, he clearly said he didn't want to do that. He wanted everything down together, which did massively worry me. We had no choice but to send a message full of questions. Myself, and I'd imagine you lot, wanted answers to.
Send it, send it, send it.
So I went back into the factory, got on with my day job, my work, and awaited Reese to give me a shout, and he did, and said, we've got a reply, and hopefully that was going to be the answer to a load of very important questions.
I think it's a bit of a twist.
Really? Now, the only reply we got back to all of those questions was, what makes you think it wasn't for ransom? We had intel, we had some information from inside JLR that this was not for money, that it was just for clout. That obviously hit a nerve. That is what spooked these guys, and that was sort of like the start of the end. Only what I heard. So, by the sounds of it, I'm wrong.
Sending emojis to the hackers of JLR.
So let's have a question. How much have you asked for? Account deleted. So that was it. Just like that, we had been deleted, dumped. Yeah, they'd disappeared. We tried to get back in contact through the sources, the channels which we had, and they'd gone underground, like never to be seen to this day since. And to me, that's proof that these are the actual people, because if it had been a prankster, somebody messing about with us, a fan, there'd have been back and forth questions and answers, you know, somebody wasting our time. But we 100% spooked these people, deleted account, vanished into thin air. I think we are the last people to speak to the hackers, which is amazing really. This nightmare is far from over for JLR, but there has been some news today that they have made some small steps to start bringing their digital systems back up running. The government has also announced it's going to cash inject £1.5 billion loan to keep the company afloat. JLR are owned by a very successful, huge Indian company called Tata. And when I say successful, they are worth $436 billion. Fair play. So, surely they can help themselves out. Bring a bit of those profits they earn back into the UK to save us, the taxpayer, taking all of the hit. Otherwise, you and I are going to be the real people to save JLR. But let me know in the comments if you think the government should help bail out JLR or the £1 billion company that owns it. See you next Tuesday, 6 p.m.